Lastly, number 3, we want to evaluate letters A through D. And we want to do this without using a calculator, so we want to look at our unit circle for these. In letter A, we're looking for the sine of pi over 2. In letter B, we're looking for the cosine of pi. In C, we're looking for the cosine of negative 3 pi over 2. And in letter D, we're looking for the tangent of 2 pi. So if we're looking at number 3, if I get my unit circle out again, and I know you guys should have this with you, or at least have it in your binders. I pull this out. Since I know where my radians are on my unit circle, if I look for the sine of pi over 2, pi over 2 would be 90 degrees. My sine value is going to be 1. So letter A is 1. In letter B, I'm looking for the cosine of pi. Cosine of pi is the same thing as the cosine of 180 degrees. So if I look at the cosine of 180 degrees, I get negative 1. So letter B is negative 1. And in letter C, I'm looking for the cosine of negative 3 pi over 2. Negative 3 pi over 2, if we work our way around, remember negative means we move in the opposite direction, which would be our clockwise direction. So negative 3 pi over 2 would mean we would have to travel, this would be negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2 would take us up to 90 degrees. So the cosine of either negative 270, if I swing around this way, or it's the same thing, it's coterminal with cosine of 90 degrees. The cosine of that is 0. So letter C is 0 for cosine of negative 3 pi over 2. And lastly, letter D, tangent of 2 pi. Well, we know 2 pi exists over here. We also know our tangent is the y over x. So if I look at my ordered pairs, my y is 0, my x is 1. So my y over x would be 0 over 1, which would give me 0 for the tangent of 2 pi. So let's write those out. Sine of pi over 2 is the same thing as sine of 90 degrees, which we know is 1. Cosine of pi is the same thing as cosine of 180 degrees. On my unit circle, that's negative 1. Cosine of negative 3 pi over 2 is the same thing as cosine of negative 270 degrees, but it's also coterminal with my cosine of 90 degrees. Those exist in the same position. They're coterminal. And we know that to be 0. And since my tangent proportion, remember, is my y over x at 2 pi, this is the same thing as tangent of 360 degrees. At 360, I have the ordered pair 1, 0. So if I set this up as my 0 over my 1, 0 over 1, I get the tangent of 2 pi, or tangent of 360, to be equal to 0.